The Witcher Season 3 disappointed many viewers, especially those who actually read the books or played the video games. Learn how Yennefer's arc was twisted more than once. Discover which characters differ drastically from their prototypes. And what big reveal from the novels was disclosed super early on in the show?
Shit, that's not the right line.
Not the canon. Season 3 of The Witcher has lots of discrepancies with the source material, and it seems like the show veers further away from the books with each new season. Unfortunately, the showrunners seem to do this on purpose. And what's worse is that they don't even try to hide their disrespect for the original novels. Just look at how the scriptwriters portray the characters, and how they just ignore important elements of the lore. For instance, in the books, Yennefer has always been a powerful sorceress. But in Season 2, she loses her powers, which drives her to make bad choices. The show's writers created a rather questionable storyline. Yen contemplates sacrificing Ciri to regain her magic. Fans were disappointed with the decision, as it drove the main characters away from each other. Speaking of Yennefer, it's impossible not to mention the plot hole in her arc in Season 3. A little less conversation, please. A big part of Season 3 involved attempting to redeem the sorceress. Oddly enough, Ciri immediately forgave Yen. While it took some time, and a few letters for Geralt to warm up towards her. But surprisingly, the Brotherhood of Mages didn't need even that. After the events of the previous season, it should have been extremely dangerous for Yennefer to return to Aretuza. Instead, she was met with open arms and was allowed to talk in front of the council and lecture them on how to stand together.
No more secrets. We can all be our best selves.
Just think about it. After this pep talk, the most powerful mages of the continent seemed to forget all the numerous times Yennefer turned her back on them. And there are more confusing moments in this season. Yes, the fight in Shaerrawedd was really impressive, but it had a number of plot holes and inconsistencies. The most notable is what Geralt did, or more precisely, didn't do with Rience. The fire mage teleported into a closed room and was stuck there, as Yennefer could have closed the portal at any minute. The Witcher followed Rience, but for some reason, didn't kill him. Instead of breaking his neck, he just broke the mage's hands, even though he knew the portal wouldn't stay for long. Also, there was a strange situation with the elven archers. Somehow they couldn't hit Yennefer, yet she was standing just a couple feet away from them. Perhaps Yen was using her magic? But the most confusing scene of Season 3 was when Ciri tried to run away from Aretuza. It's understandable why she didn't like the drunk sorceresses. Still, she came there to learn magic and to hide from those who were pursuing her. And suddenly, she's just leaving without a word to Yennefer, or even knowing where Geralt is. Then, out of nowhere, the Wild Hunt shows up and chases Ciri. The scene seems to come out of nowhere. It almost feels like a dream sequence, especially when Geralt comes out of thin air to save her. He casts a sign, and the ominous Wild Hunt disappears, which makes it seem like they are not that dangerous after all. Sadly, there's no explanation about how Geralt happened to so conveniently be in the right place at the right time, and the two never mention the hunt again. That's not the only scene that seems completely pointless. Underdeveloped characters. Undoubtedly, the audience enjoyed the love story between Jaskier and Prince Radovid. However, some argued that the plotline makes no sense. In the source material, Radovid was King Visimir's teenage son, and didn't play any significant role. So why did the show's writers make him the king's brother? The most probable reason is that Jaskier had to have a muse to create his best song ever.
Radovid is that tool. Radovid is a spoon.
And although we haven't heard that powerful ballad yet, we might hear it in Season 4. Anyway, hopes were high for this new character. The way Radovid behaved hinted that there was something hidden behind his careless looks. It seemed like he might become a real player with a deeper understanding of things. Alas, all he wanted was an affair with the charming bard. Another example of a character who was created specifically for the show is Galatan. He doesn't have a specific role or story arc that makes him stand out from the other elves. In fact, the only reason why he's on the show is for Cahir to brutally kill somebody. And speaking of elves, do you think they are elven enough? On the show, they look exactly like humans, just with pointy ears. But they are supposed to live longer, which should affect the way they behave and talk. Even more so, they should be slender and taller, with some distinctive elven features like smaller teeth or unusual eyes. They must technically be more beautiful than humans. And so should the sorceresses. According to the books, they're supposed to be drop-dead gorgeous. An unnatural, stunning beauty was obligatory for all the graduates of Aretuza. Along with their wit and magic powers, their beauty was meant to be a tool of manipulation. But the show decided to go another path, proving that each and everybody is beautiful in their own way. However, sometimes this falls short of the fans' expectations. For example, in the books, Ciri was amazed by Margarita's body, thinking, "I thought nobody could match Yennefer at having a marvelous figure. This woman surpasses even her." With all due respect, that's not the case in the TV series. The show's creators totally missed the fact that the Witcher world is medieval. And different beauty standards 100% existed in that era. But let's now talk about a plot hole that appeared in the second season and is still left unanswered. The Emperor's Secret. Ymir is revealed to be Duny in the very last book. This is a big deal, considering the intentions the Emperor had towards Ciri. Ymir was convinced that her child would save and rule the world and wanted to father this savior. That was also the reason why he never revealed his real connection to the princess. Moreover, it resulted in the conquest of Sintra and the death of Calanthe and others who knew the Emperor's true identity. In the series, though, the fact that Ymir was Cirilla's father was disclosed in the second season. So there's a good chance that the whole plot will be changed, too. However, a sudden twist at the end of the show doesn't seem possible, considering how much of the audience knows the books and games. It also doesn't seem likely that the series would go on with the potential incestual relationship on screen. The showrunners have probably decided to somehow change the whole story, although it remains unclear if they managed to create another reason for Ymir to remain Ciri's biggest threat. And what's left unresolved is why the Emperor destroyed Sintra if he didn't plan to keep his daughter a secret. All these inconsistencies might have been part of the reason why the biggest fan of the Witcher franchise stepped down from the show. The White Wolf's departure. Henry Cavill still hasn't publicly explained his reasons for leaving the project. However, many fans believe that he hated the radical shift away from the source material. Plus, the show's writers allegedly don't like the books or the game, at all, which would explain why there are so many changes and diversions. Anyway, it was announced that the franchise would go on without Cavill, and that Liam Hemsworth's introduction would be lore-accurate. Co-producer Tomek Baginski even promised that it's going to be very, very close to the meta ideas which are deeply embedded in the books. Unfortunately, the end of Season 3 held no clues. Previously, fans suggested that Geralt's new look might be explained by his wounds, like from his showdown with Vilgefortz, for example. However, that wasn't the case. Badly wounded, Geralt was still totally himself while healing in Brokilon. So Cavill actually didn't get a proper goodbye. Guess we will only see how the actor swap is handled when Season 4 arrives. Let us know in the comments, what are your expectations for the future of the show? Thanks for watching, and stay OSSA'm.